Well, in Abuja, a school for children with special needs has taken off to cater for their needs and welfare. The special school is totally free for children with autism, cerebral palsy, and other forms of disability. And it is to encourage parents to bring their autistic children for formal education to enhance their special talents. During an enlightenment walk and event to mark the 2025 World Autism Day, organizers say the idea of the special school is born out of the passion for education for the special children.
Well, every child has the right to quality education. And we looked, and from experience, I'm a parent of a child that has autism, 20-year-old, and in all my experience, I have never seen, and I don't know of anywhere, the government has given children with special needs access to free education. And so that is what we're just doing here in Kanyeyachukwu Foundation, to fill that void, to make sure that every child, irrespective of social class, irrespective of the parents' income, have access to basic education. And that is why this center is free. This center is free of no tuition, no charges. We make sure it is zero charges.
Autism is not something to stigmatize anyone. I work with these children. I'm director of academics. We are all disabled in one way or the other. Ability in disability. These children that you consider disabled because they are not thinking like you, they are not reasoning as fast as you are reasoning, or being able to speak, to hear the same way you hear, have what God has put innately in every one of us. We are specially made.
These children also have something to offer. They are special in their own ways. You know, they are very special in their own ways. They can also contribute to the society. And it's what the Kanyeyachukwu Foundation is trying to do. We are trying to make sure that irrespective of what has happened, money shouldn't be a deterring factor for them not to have the best in life. They've been given free education. No dime to be paid by them. No dime to be paid by them. For these children to be worthwhile, to be useful.
All right, we're joined now in the studio by Kanyeyachukwu, Okeke's father. Kanyeya himself is with us right here in the studio. And at our overflow studio is Dr. Margaret Ibeku, who is the founder of the Kanyeyachukwu Foundation for Children with Special Needs. You saw her moments ago in that report. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight, and happy Autism Awareness Day. Great to have you. I mean, I'm wondering where exactly to start, but I'll just start.
And congratulations, Kanye.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how on earth he was able to achieve this feat? You know, when it says impossibility is a myth. Now, walk us through your experience first of, you know, taking care of an autistic child.
It's tasking. It's difficult. It has its down times, and sometimes it has its upbeat times as well. There's an innocence that comes with him and with what he does. There's no need to paint things not the way they are. He's just who he is. He's just real, and sometimes that being real and being who he is can also mean that he would express himself in any way which he feels like, and sometimes, well, when he would express himself the way he feels like, it would just be acceptable to society in general. But like I said, there is down times, and then there are upbeat times when you actually you really appreciate that innocence, just like with his art, where he uses art to express himself. And the colors he uses, and how he mixes them, and how he puts in so much vigor when he's painting, and how he focuses at that point in time. He's busy and he's focused, and nothing disturbs him. We really appreciate him at that point in time, and it's a beautiful experience. I'll tell you, it's a beautiful experience. Yes.
Indeed. I'm just really excited. Let me come to you, Dr. Ibeku. And when you look at the theme for this year, it has to do with advancing neurodiversity and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. But in many parts of the world, children like Kanye are still underestimated. You deal with children with special needs, particularly in the rural area, where you call for social justice. But in Nigeria, what's the story of children with special needs from your own perspective?
Well, the story is a very pathetic one. Like we know, every child should have access to free quality education. And like I said earlier today, even in the interview we just saw, I don't know of anywhere, I've never seen, I've never heard of anywhere where children in Nigeria have access, children living with autism or any other form of neurodiversity have access to free education. And it creates a class barrier. It means it's basically those of them that are privileged to be born to very rich and comfortable families that are able to access education, access healthcare, access other things that will help them to be, live at their full potential and contribute like Kanyeye is doing. So it's basically the story everywhere. If you go from state to state, I reside here in the FCT. And here in the FCT, there is no such facility, there is no such provision, there is no support for parents, no support for children, no access to free quality education. And we all know to educate a special needs child is very expensive. So the schools that are stepping in are only doing their best. They are able to provide education at expensive cost because there is no other way they can do it. So that's basically what is on ground now for children with special needs.
Let me come back to you, Kanye's dad. I mean, and listening to what Dr. Ibeku has just said there, I mean, I'm only imagining how challenging it has been for you, both emotionally, mentally, financially even. But in spite of the lack of support, base, support by society and all of that, you and his mom, you've been able to bring him up to a place where he can actually explore his natural gifts. Painting, for example, this world record-breaking feat. Walk us through that.
We found out that Kanye was autistic when he was about 4 years old. He was diagnosed with autism. And yes, the process to even getting to him being diagnosed was really a very painful one. We were never really living in denial. We just knew that there was a problem with our child and we were taking him from one hospital to the other. At the time that Kanye was diagnosed, it was relatively not well known. So because the hospitals...
What were the first signs? What were the first signs? That,
being restless, not talking. He was words were inaudible, and then either inaudible or completely non-verbal. Having very, very limited verbal skills. So we noticed that, and everywhere we went to, we were just thought, oh, he just has some developmental problems, and he would outgrow them. And that was wrong. And so we kept going and going, and he got diagnosed at 4. And we started actually looking for a solution to what we thought was a problem at the age of about 2. We noticed there was some things wrong. We noticed the symptoms. But we ourselves were not even sure. But if we had gotten him diagnosed maybe at 2, that would have been really good, because of course the age by which you start therapy is between 2 and 3, 2.5. If you're 2 and 6 months old, you begin therapy, which what the last speaker just said is usually quite expensive. Yes, but if you can start with the therapy, you can have better results at the end of the day. We didn't get that. So by the time he was 4, got diagnosed, and back in Nigeria, we noticed that Kanye was always scribbling on the wall, using pencil and pen, scribbling on the wall, on the sofa, anywhere. We were buying rolls and rolls of paper, and it was becoming like an issue, that in itself, because we also needed to keep him busy, because we realized he was very, very, very restless. Of course, at the end of the day, we got him an art instructor. Right. The art instructor noticed that he had a flair for art and began to mentor him. Not actually tutor, but mentor him. And that mentorship resulted in what we have today. Kanye has been painting since he was 5 years old. He had his first exhibition outside the country in Vienna, Austria, when he was 8 years old. He was awarded with the Flame of Peace Award by the Archduke and Archduchess of Austria. At that exhibition, he exhibited with amongst 70 other artists from all over the world. And then from there, we came back to Nigeria. He has been having a yearly exhibition here at the Hilton Hotel in Abuja. We've been partnering with Hilton Hotel, and we have a yearly arts exhibition called the Fabulous Autistic and Talented Exhibition, where we put up a lot of Kanye's pieces, and also the pieces from other children who are living with autism all over Nigeria. And beyond Nigeria, if you're able to bring them to us, we would exhibit them and showcase their talents, because we realize that these children are really very, very gifted. Now, that in itself is not an easy task, I'm sure you must know. So having these children come here, and sometimes some of them sing, and some of them play instruments, and some of them have their paintings brought, we allow them to be free. They throw their tantrums here, and they have their meltdowns here, and we manage them. And that in itself is, I think, one of the greatest burdens that parents who live with children with special needs go through. The second one would obviously be how would the child be able to live independently? And then the third would always be, if this child cannot live independently, if the parent is not around, how would the child survive? That is usually the fear of parents who are living with children that have special needs. And so we go through that, and we still go through that, notwithstanding the milestones which we've recorded. We still have a young man who's living with autism who we have to manage,
and this is a major milestone, 3 months of this painting.
Kai, I definitely have to come and watch your exhibition and have some of your pieces. You know, I've followed his story, and I recall one of your interviews. By the way, Kai's mom is here, and she's behind the camera. Hello, Mom.
Hi.
One of the interviews, I recall you saying one of the first doctors or hospitals you went to said, "Oh, there's no problem. You know, he's not speaking. Children his age don't speak." You know, and that also added to the delay you spoke to moments ago. So there's also that problem of bridging the gap between diagnosis and support for the family. But let me go back to Dr. Ibeku. Dr. Ibeku, what's the most urgent policy shift that we have to take as a country to ensure children with special needs, autistic children, get the education and the support that they deserve?
Well, I don't really think it's a policy thing, because I think the policy is already there, that every child in Nigeria should have access to free basic education. It's just for the government to know that beyond children that are typical, beyond the children we say to be normal, there are neurodivergent children. There are children that have special needs. There are children that can't just get into the classroom like every other child and learn like every other child. They have to learn specially. So the government has to make this provision. And the government also has to go beyond stigmatization, because I know of a particular state that is doing well. At least they have a school for children with special needs in their capital, but the school is called School for Mentally Retarded Children. I mean, it's already as if these children are being stigmatized. Nobody will really want to take their child to a school that is named School for Children that are mentally retarded. So the government needs to sit down, understand that there are people that are being left out, a good population, because the number of children and young persons living with special needs, living with autism, is on the increase. We can't pretend that these people don't exist. We can't pretend that these children don't exist. And these children cut across social strata. They are not just children of the rich. We have the children of the poor. In our center here, we have children of people that earn 10,000 a month, people that earn 15,000 a month. I had the case of a parent that we admitted the child, and we said, okay, now the child can start coming to school. It's tuition free, it's free, not just tuition, you're not paying anything. And she said, okay, that's fine. But I can't bring him to school every day unless he has food to eat. And we're not just talking about education. We are talking about that there are people that even when you provide quality education, they still need support. So the government has to now go back to the drawing table, understand that this policy is there, and improve or expand this policy to make sure that children that with special needs are included in access to quality education. Also, there might be need for there to be policy, health policy that will have, will cater to children living with special needs. Because that's one of the things we're trying to do in our center, to get a health insurance plan that will cover these children, irrespective of who their parents are, because their health needs most times are not like the health needs of a regular child. Some of them have a little health complications here or there. Some might be lucky, they might not have any. But there is a need to see that these children have access to healthcare, they have access to education, and they are given the opportunity to do well. It's important that they are given the opportunity to explore themselves. There are so many of them that are talented. Kanyenya is talented art-wise. We see some of them that are talented in the area of calculations, innovations. We need to be able to give them opportunity. The government should go back to the drawing table. I'm expecting that at the end of today, being the theme for today, the Disability Commission, the Ministry of Women Affairs that has a department for child, and also every other relevant ministry, Ministry of Health, should be able to go back to the drawing table. Ministry of Education, most especially, should go back to the drawing table and make sure that these children are provided for. They should have access to basic education, skill acquisition, independent living skills, occupational therapy, and behavioral therapy. And the parents should not be left behind. If you talk to parents, you see that there is a need for support for parents. So basically,
Absolutely.
that's what.
Very, very well said, succinctly put there, Dr. Ibeku. Let me come back to Kanye's dad. I mean, we can't end this conversation without talking about this artwork. 12,303 square meters.
Actually, 12,381.
There you go. There you go.
Impossibility
a myth. I mean, his story is a testament that you can actually shatter expectations of children living with special needs. Walk us through, how was this 3 months? Because I gather it took all of 3 months, to come up with this. Yes. A lot must have gone into it.
Oh yes, a lot of sweat, a lot of sweat, a lot of energy, a lot of funds. The bulk of the work, the greatest part of the work was done by his mom. His mom is a driver when it comes to him a lot, pushes him a lot. The last time we went for an exhibition in Dubai, we were invited to Dubai to exhibit at the World Autism Day last year, and I was asked the question, and they said, what next? And I said, ask the mom, because she's going to tell us what next. And exactly that's what happened.
I'm sure you didn't set out to, break a world record in
Kanye has
art.
been painting on large canvases. Kanye about 3-4 years ago would paint on a canvas that was 20 foot by 10 feet big. And so we knew that if he could keep increasing the size. The more the canvas, the more the colors, the more the vigor, the more he's interested, the more he wants to go further and further. And so, yes, it was something that we knew it could actually be done. How we were going to do it, we didn't know. Along the way, we were also getting a lot of information from other people. How do you get the canvas put together? We were so blessed to have had the Nigerian military in person of the Chief of Defense Staff gave us permission to use their facility in Gwagwalada to put together the canvas and get the first measurement, and that's where we got 12,303. And now we had to move the canvas from there down to his school, JC Best School, who were also so benevolent enough to give us their hall to use for the entire 3 months. And so we were bringing in the canvas in batches, about 200 square meters at a time, and then we roll it up and we paint. And most of that time, the mom was with him. Most of that time, the mom would be with him.
What's the painting itself about? I mean, it's titled Impossibility.
The painting is an accumulation of most of Kanye's works. Kanye paints a lot of faces. If you look at his past pieces, he paints a lot of faces, a happy face, a sad face, a confused face, and he paints a lot. He started out painting, of course, animals, lion, zebra, and stuff, and then faces, and then you have the infinity sign, autism infinity sign in the middle.
Really? Interesting.
And then he has the faces all around. And you still have a little bit of abstract work done in between, And that is what Kanye actually does. The most beautiful of Kanye's pieces are actually abstract works.
Okay.
But with this time around, we did something that would convey meaning. He had a little bit of guidance here.
Yeah.
Most of his, if not all of his works, no guidance. We just leave him with the canvas and walk away. He does what he wants to do, and when he's done, he says he's done. He drops his brush, and when you look at it, it's beautiful.
Congratulations again, Kanye.
Thank you.
And of course to the entire family. Tagbo Okeke is Kanye's dad.
Yep.
Like I said, Kanye's mom is also
Behind
here.
the camera.
The
Well
woman who
done.
has been driving it all,
Yes.
she is here. Thank you so much, Kanye's mom, for the job that you do. And of course, to all the families that have to deal with special children, you know, we're with you. Keep driving. We hope that the
encouraged.
support will come your way.
Yeah.
We also have to thank Dr. Ibeku. Dr. Margaret Ibeku is the founder of the Kanyeyachukwu Foundation for Children with Special Needs, who has just started a free school for children with special needs here in the Federal Capital Territory. Thank you so much, Dr. Ibeku, for what you do as well.